wrestling's a mixed bag, isn't it? Sometimes you get great things like the main event of WrestleMania X7 and Kevin Owens, and sometimes you get horrible things like Million Dollar Mania and Baron Corbin. But whatever the case may be, wrestling offers several things to all walks of life. One of those things being great wrestlers. Wrestling's been around for a long time. And in that time, we have seen several performers step into the squared circle. But which wrestlers stand out from the rest? Today, I'm going to give you my personal 10. But before I do, I need to pay mention to an honorable mention, Chris Jericho. Jericho is easily one of the best professional wrestlers of the past 2 decades and a master of reinvention. That has to be given respect. Yes, he has slowed down in the ring since his career began a long while ago, but he is still a phenomenal wrestler for a man who is 49 years old. That's got to be given its due. But anyway, let's move on. I'm Jackson Haney from Insane Internet Wrestling, and today we look at my 10 favorite wrestlers of all time.
Number 10, Edge.
Yeah, I like Edge. Most people do, but I don't like him just because of his return at the Royal Rumble a few months back. I like him because he's been one of the best professional wrestlers of the past 2 decades. From his work with Edge and Christian, to the SmackDown 6, to the Rated R Superstar, to 2020, most of what he's done has been pretty good. His matches speak for themselves. Look at matches like against Kurt Angle at Judgment Day 2002. Yeah, that might have been hair versus hair, but it was pretty good. That same match at Backlash 2002. Oh my gosh, go watch it. It's brilliant. His match at Survivor Series that same year, the SmackDown 6, put on some of the best matches of that year. And his work in 2006 with John Cena is also pretty darn good. Their match at Unforgiven, you should go watch it. But his matches, yes, they're good, but they aren't all he has to offer. He's also great in the character department. Edge and Christian, brilliant. His work with Kurt Angle, not in ring-wise, but character-wise, it's all astounding. His work as the Rated R Superstar in the mid-2000s, controversial, but it made cash, just like Uncle Eric told me. And his work today, grit, passion, it all comes together beautifully. Yes, Edge is a great professional wrestler, no doubt. But character-wise, he's easily one of the best. And on top of that, he has won all of the things. I'm not going to go into it all, because this video would be way too long, and you can look it up. You're not going anywhere anytime soon, so you can look it up. All in all, Edge has been one of my favorite wrestlers my whole time as a wrestling fan, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
Number 9, Daniel Bryan.
What is there to say about Daniel Bryan, a man who literally got fired from WWE less than 24 hours after debuting? Basically, he's had one of the best careers in WWE history. He's had some great wrestling matches against the likes of Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles, and John Cena. He's had some great character moments with the likes of Sheamus, Eric Rowan, and Kane. And he's had quite possibly the best story WWE has ever told, the main event of WrestleMania 30, and what led up to it. I'll put it like this. Daniel Bryan was snubbed from the Royal Rumble 2014. Fans were like, what happened there, WWE? Daniel Bryan was supposed to be number 30, not Rey Mysterio. Sorry, said WWE. Rey was our only option. How about we put Bryan in the chamber match for the world title? That's fine, said the fans. And so the match happened. Daniel Bryan made it to the final 2, and then got eliminated by Orton because of interference from Grandpa Kane. Fans were like, that's not what we wanted, WWE. Now we hate Randy Orton, and we want Daniel Bryan in the main event. What happens now? And WWE replied, you don't hate Randy Orton, and you don't need Daniel Bryan. What you need is Batista. Happy WrestleMania, everyone. Then the fans said, okay, now we hate Batista and Randy Orton. What happens next? Okay, said WWE. You clearly still like Daniel Bryan, so, how about we give him Triple H at WrestleMania? What do you think about that? That's better, said the fans. But now we hate Triple H, we hate Randy Orton, and we hate Batista. Now what do you do? Okay, said WWE. How about Daniel Bryan beats them all? And then the fans rejoiced. It's one of the best stories ever. I could go into more detail, but that's the gist of it. He's done some other stuff too, but that story, that one story in 2014, made Daniel Bryan into the megastar that he is today. And without it, Daniel Bryan basically wouldn't be who he is.
Number 8, Kurt Angle.
I talked about Daniel Bryan having a great career. Now I need to talk about the epitome of a great career, Kurt Angle. The way Kurt Angle debuted was a stroke of genius. Vince McMahon took a guy who legitimately won an Olympic gold medal for his country and debuted him as a heel. I wouldn't have thought to do that, and you wouldn't have either. But since his debut, he's had some great moments. Less than a year after he debuted, he won the WWE Championship, the most prestigious belt in the entire company. And he's had some great feuds too, with the likes of Chris Benoit, Edge, Brock Lesnar, The Rock, Triple H, each one as good as the last. But like Edge, it's not just the wrestling that makes Kurt Angle great, it's his character work. Kurt Angle is easily one of the funniest wrestlers of all time. He's had some hilarious skits, including Milkomania, wearing a tiny cowboy hat, singing Jimmy Crack Corn and I Don't Care. He's hilarious, and if you haven't seen anything of Kurt Angle's, go watch his matches, go watch his segments, come back to me, and then tell me I was right, because I was.
Number 7, Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero was so good for so long, and he's easily one of the most iconic wrestlers of all time. Sure, he didn't spend his entire career in WWE, as he's had some great matches in the likes of New Japan, AAA, ECW, and WCW, but his stint in WWE is what he's most known for. During that WWE run, he's had some great matches against the likes of Brock Lesnar, Rey Mysterio, and Kurt Angle, each time making his opponent look like a superstar. That lie, cheat, and steal gimmick that he had in the mid-2000s is iconic and resulted in some great moments, including Guerrero winning the WWE title from Brock Lesnar at No Way Out 2004. Guerrero's passing in November of 2005 left a huge hole in the industry that honestly hasn't been filled since. And yeah, Vince McMahon can say that Angel Garza is a modern-day Eddie Guerrero, but let's be honest. There's no replacing Latino heat. Absolutely no way.
Number 6, Bret Hart.
You want to talk about excellent wrestling? Look no further than the Hitman. When he stepped in the ring, fans expected a wrestling masterpiece, and sometimes they got it, whether it was against Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13, Owen Hart at SummerSlam 1994, or Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 12. When Bret Hart was in the ring, you could expect some good old-fashioned grappling. Now, in terms of character work, he's no Kurt Angle, but Bret could more than hold himself in a promo. He could also hold himself in an actual fight as he ripped out a clunk of Shawn's hair, but that's a story for another time. Basically, though he's nowhere near Rock levels on the mic, he's easily in a league of his own when it comes to in-ring ability, and his accolades, they speak for themselves.
Number 5, John Cena.
Yeah, Cena's in my top 10. Come at me. Yes, Cena has taken a lot of crap in recent years for being overpushed and hindering the push of other wrestlers, and while that's certainly debatable, there's no denying that he is one of the most successful wrestlers in the history of the company. I mean, 16 world championships in just over 10 years speaks for itself, don't you think? Yes, he can be kiddie, he can be childish, but once the time requires it, he can be serious. In the build-up to his first match with The Rock, just forget the other one even happened, he brought back the Dr. Thugonomics character, a great character. He didn't hold back, and he called out the fact that Rock writes notes for his promo on his wrist. That's cold, guys. That's ice cold. Very cold. There's another word I'm trying to think of that comes from another wrestler, but I'm having trouble think of it. Totes cold. That's it. Totes cold. Anyway. Yes, his part-time status is saddening, but now that he's a Hollywood megastar and has seemingly better things to do, there's no telling when he's going to come back, but he is an undeniable, huge draw, and every time he's on TV, fans are going to watch, because it's John Cena. You can't see him. We can.
Number 4, The Rock.
Hey, you know how The Rock is now in Hollywood making big, tough movies with his big, tough arms, and he's really good at it? You want to know why he's good at it? Because of charisma. He's probably the most charismatic man on the planet. He's more charismatic than me, and that is saying something. That charisma translated to his promos. Go back and watch literally all of his promos from 1998 to 2003, and you will love them. And yes, he's the best talker in wrestling history. You heard me. But that doesn't mean he was bad in the ring. He was actually one of the best. His matches against the likes of Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Steve Austin are some of the best the WWE has ever seen, and that's all down to the sheer wrestling genius of the People's Champion.
Number 3, Shawn Michaels.
Now this one is tricky because, yeah, Shawn is one of the best in-ring workers of all time. But there are several reports of him being, shall I say, difficult to work with. He vacated titles at the drop of a hat because he wasn't feeling it when he was asked to defend them. He completely ruined the planned main event of WrestleMania 13 because he lost his smile, and he was involved in the Montreal Screwjob. Have you heard of that? You have? Good. Now, yeah, there are things rooting against Shawn here, but there are some things ruling in his favor. Mainly, he's a really good wrestler, you guys. Like, he's really good. Go back and watch his matches with Triple H, Bret Hart, The Undertaker, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, John Cena, Razor Ramon, among others, and you will be impressed. Yeah, he could have been a pain backstage, but at the end of the day, you can't really hate him. You can't. He's just that good.
Number 2, Steve Austin.
Stone Cold Steve Austin is the biggest draw in wrestling history. Bigger than The Rock, bigger than Hulk Hogan, bigger than John Cena. You heard me. No one, no single person in the history of professional wrestling has matched the popularity that Stone Cold had in the late 90s and early 2000s. Absolutely no one. Every time the glass shattered, the fans came unglued. The Stunner is one of the best finishers wrestling has ever seen. His matches against the likes of The Rock, Bret Hart, Kurt Angle, Triple H, The Undertaker are all phenomenal. His final moments as a wrestler, WrestleMania 19, are hugely saddening and hugely iconic. Now, not everything about Austin's career was perfect, but it was pretty darn close. And that's the bottom line, because I said so.
And number 1, The Undertaker.
Hulk Hogan might have been the biggest star of the Golden Era. Steve Austin might have been the biggest star of the Attitude Era. John Cena might have been the biggest star of the Ruthless Aggression Era. But the cornerstone of all of those eras is unquestionably The Undertaker. For 3 whole human decades, The Undertaker worked for Vince McMahon. Never once did he consider going to the competition. So much so that Vince appointed him locker room leader. And people have said, unless you're Vince, you don't tell Taker what to do. In those 3 decades, he has done everything that he needed to do. He's won the world title. He's main evented several WrestleManias. He's had some of the best matches in professional wrestling history, and that is a fact. He's just been the best. He has the best character in professional wrestling history. He's had some of the best matches in professional wrestling history. And for my liking, he is the best wrestler in professional wrestling history.
And that's our list. Thanks for watching. Who are your 10 favorite wrestlers of all time? Let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe, and you can follow me on Twitter here. I'm Jackson Haney from Insane Internet Wrestling, and I will see you soon.